Let's go back to the summer of 2016. Almost 6 years ago, years before we had to wear a mask to go to the store, views by Drake were dominating the charts and everyone and their mother were outside catching Pokemon. But alongside Pokemon Go, there was another massive mobile game released that summer. CSR Racing 2 was released in the late June of 2016 and right from the start it looked stunning. At the time and even now, CSR2 has had by far the best graphics and car detail of any mobile racing game ever released. But now it's 2022 and CSR2 is, at the time this video releases, still the top grossing mobile racing game out there. Today we'll take a look at the reasons why this game managed to not only survive but thrive after all these years. Number 1, the graphics. I don't really need to say much more than that. I mean, the game looked unbelievably good when it first released, and 6 years later no other mobile racing game has even come close. The inescapable ad promotions for the game also showcased how good it looked, and while ultimately I don't think the visuals are super important for a racing game, they clearly only helped the immense popularity of the game. Number 2, the card list. When the game first released in 2016, I made a video talking about how CSR2 compares to Racing Rivals, and I noted a few advantages both games had over each other. Now, even though Racing Rivals shut down in 2019, I still think my video holds up surprisingly well, but there is, in my opinion, one thing that changed: the amount of cars in CSR2. While the car list was a bit short at release, throughout the years there were hundreds of new cars added to the game, and these days the game is pretty much a paradise for collecting hypercars. This actually transitions quite well into number 3, the events. I've heard about the Bugatti and the Fast and the Furious events, and there's been many more throughout the years, and these are great incentives for players to continue progressing even after they complete the original campaign and the Tempest. I only played a small amount of them, and while I have heard that they are unfortunately sometimes stuck behind paywalls, I do want to highlight probably my favorite feature of CSR2. The Legends update. At the start you would get a free Ferrari 250 GTO, and then you would complete events with neglected classic cars, earning the McLaren F1 at the end. Sure, the progress is kinda slow, but you can get some of the most famous cars of all time without spending a dime, which is very rare these days, and speaking of that, number 4, microtransactions. I did mention paywalls on certain events, but I gotta be honest and say that CSR2 overall has pretty decent microtransactions. You can get a decent amount of both keys and gold for free, but the microtransactions are there if you want to spend extra. Now, I don't think microtransactions are good, but they clearly aren't going away anytime soon, and I gotta commend CSR2 for having some of the least aggressive microtransactions out there, if you of course ignore the super NOS. And finally, number 5, the lack of competition. One of the biggest reasons why CSR2 is still so popular is because there just isn't any games that could challenge it. After Racing Rivals and Asphalt Street Storm and many other competitors shut down, if you wanted to play a drag racing game, boom, CSR2. Maybe Nitro Nation, maybe Rush Racing 2, but that's about it. And honestly, CSR2 will probably outlive both of those. In all honesty, I haven't played CSR2 in a while. Just like 6 years ago, I still prefer the concept of Racing Rivals, but I gotta admit, CSR2 is a fantastic game. And if you're looking for a mobile drag racing game, this is the one I would recommend. If you love cars, this game has you covered. Anyway, what do you guys think about CSR2? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Have a good one.